cracking? What's cracking? I'm out here in the UK on the straight out of Compton tour, man. Much love. And you know you rocking with, man. It's little Eazy-E, and we about that online. So we finna get it cracking, man.
Okay, so peace family. Today we're joined with another special guest, and it's Alonzo Williams, the undisputed Godfather of West Coast hip hop, a grandmaster in the game with an entertainment career spanning over 40 plus years, still continuing as a trailblazer, as a DJ, a podcaster, a record producer. Let me know if I've missed anything. You know, ultimately known author. Okay, there we go, and a community worker and stuff as well. So, you know, I want to say salute. It's a pleasure to have you on there. And the leader of the World Class Wreckin Cru. What's good, family?
Hanging out, man. Just like I say all the time, hanging like a chandelier, just trying to shine.
Okay, so we see you shining. We see that nice piece you got hanging down the neck.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's something. I had an organization called the Hip Hop Hall of Fame and Entertainment Center, and I was kind of inducting people into my organization. And this is one of the first pieces we had made to proclaim the induction.
Okay. So what was that organization? What was it? What was the
basis? It was a nonprofit I founded. I still do. I work with a lot of artists, man. I'm trying to educate artists on the music industry. The music industry is a cold game, and they like lions. They love innocent baby calves or baby deer, whatever the case may be, and if nobody looking out for you, you're gonna get devoured. And these guys out here, a lot of them are so anxious to be on top of to get some shine. They'll let themselves be devoured by the game just to say they played it.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, one of the things I think is noteworthy on your podcast that you got on YouTube, I've heard you kick a lot of games just on the music business and the industry and stuff like that as well. So you definitely always dropping science, I think, for those that can understand it and can kind of grasp what you're saying, because it is definitely a cold game in a cold industry. And like you said, there's a lot of people that go into it naive, looking for they may not even know what they're looking for, but they might just end up getting turned out along the way. Not to make light of such things, but recently, you know, we know you represent the West Coast. We've had a lot of issues out there in the music business with rappers like, you know, Lil Nas X and, you know, DaBaby and Lil Boozy and stuff, making comments on stuff like that. Do you feel as though this new generation has kind of gone in a completely different direction?
This generation right here, man, this new generation has kind of, let me say this. We in a business that respect is everything. But in order to get likes, shares, and notifications on your pages or whatever the case may be, people are prepared to disrespect to get likes. You follow me? And they'll say and do anything to get the attention. And I tell people all the time, attention is a new talent. You ain't got to have talent, just get the attention. And guys like that, they specialize in doing different situations or creating situations, doing antics that will get them noticed. Although their music may not be that great, it's like the music is a byproduct of their antics. And so you got guys saying things they know they're gonna get attention for. You know, Baby just made a big comment about some LGBTQ stuff, and they're all over him behind this. And you know, they're talking about canceling some shows and some other things. It's just that you got artists now that are disrespecting artists who have been killed. I'm smoking your ashes in my blood, and it's like, dude, it's perpetuating a level of disrespect that I've never seen before. You know, hip hop is all about respect, but this new generation throws respect out the window just to get some shares and likes.
Yeah, no, I hear that, and I think it's a shame. One of the things I'm going to touch on, which I think is noteworthy, because some may say that some of that may have stemmed from the older generation, from some of the beefs and the past situations that they had, and it sort of trickled down by people not seeing enough of I guess a positive example of people coming together. With that being said, there was a rapper recently, Gonzo. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was reportedly killed in Seattle. And he used to be down with Caution and Ice Cube and a lot of those guys. He's a West Coast guy, and he used to do social media and stuff like that. His stuff was quite funny and stuff. But it's the same thing you're saying nowadays. The attention that you get, and it may not necessarily be good because it can lead to people being jealous, people wanting to come and find you, and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So
it's like. You got guys joining gangs, claiming gangs they don't really claim. Then you got gangbangers on their head, and you got guys trying to be something they're not. You got good kids that just get some tattoos, and all of a sudden they decide they're gonna be this right here, and or even worse, they'll talk a bunch of head in the studio, and then they got to go out and retroactively live up to the lies they told in the studio, get themselves caught up. And it's like going to jail, going to prison is just a part of becoming a celebrity these days. It's like having tattoos. Like I have nothing against tattoos, but some people do them so excessive so they can become a spectacle. And again, the music is secondary. They do certain things. They make some beats. Beats are easy to make nowadays. It don't take a lot of money to make beats. They say something disrespectful, all of a sudden, or they do a video disrespecting somebody, they get a bunch of attention, and they're on TMZ, or they got what they want, and they get the music starts streaming, or whatever the case may be. But it's not a good look. And in regards to old school, yeah, we had beefs back in the day, but most of the beefs we had were word beefs. It was beefs of talent. LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee had one of the biggest beefs of our time, but it was a beef of talent, they may have gotten upset because one guy may have outworded somebody or outsmarted somebody lyrically, but all they did was make the other guy sharper. It didn't make him go get a pistol and want to go hunting. Okay, you got guys nowadays, man, every week you got guys falling, man. Every week somebody is dying from whatever. Somebody says something, oh, he hurt my feelings, I got to go kill him. Okay? And Gonzo, unfortunately, I don't know what caused him his situation, why he was gunned down. I knew of him, I didn't know him personally. But, again, he's another example of, guys taking things too far, man, because this ain't a video game. Ain't no reset button on life, man. You just can't go back and re-up on life because you lost a life in round one. No, it's over with. And and then it gets political because now you play it into the hands of the prison industrial complex, and it just goes on and on and on. Everything that we know is against us, but we play right into the hands of it. And this is where the old school comes in at, because we see what's happening, but because a lot of the rappers now are making money off of what they're doing, they don't understand the damage because they're making money. And people actually will turn a blind eye to their antics because they're making money. Oh man, you just hating because they're making money. No, man, they still not a whole generation doing what they're doing, along with putting themselves at risk. And that's the part that most of them don't understand. The game they're playing is not worth the price.
Yeah, no, that's real, and you definitely speaking some real game, man, and I hope people are definitely able to listen and understand. I know some will, definitely a lot of our listeners, even when we said you were coming down, they were happy because, people are checking out your podcast and stuff as well. And one of the things you just spoke on, I think you told a story about a guy, and he had a son, and one of them, his son was in prison, and the other guy's son was working at the prison, and he said, my son's training to be in that position, to have that job, by his son doing that. And even here in the UK, which is interesting and leads to what you just said, we see a lot of the same thing, which is an exasperation of young people wanting to go out and commit certain types of crime, which coincides with the music that they make, which is definitely different to how it was at one stage, where you said it was more lyrical, creative, coming from an artistic standpoint. Now it's kind of mirroring the same out here as well, similarly, where everybody's on you know, they have to go out there and sort of do what they say they do. So if everybody's on the track saying, yo, I stabbed up this man, that's what's, you know, they have to go out there and act it out and stuff like that as well.
The crazy part about it is they use your lyrics in court to convict your ass. You know, Saturday, a friend of mine came by my house. One of my old roadies. He used to be a roadie for us in World Class Wreckin Cru. And in 1980, 85, 86, he went to the movie to see Colors. The movie Colors.
Yeah, Colors. Okay? Colors.
And there was a guy there he had an issue with earlier that week. The guy pulled a gun on him. And he saw the guy at the movie theater, and the guy looked like he was going for his gun. And my homie shot him and killed him. They caught him. They gave him 25 to life. Okay, he did 31 years in jail. Saturday, he came to my house for the first time. I saw him for the first time in 31 years. We talked about his situation. I went to his court. I testified for him in court. I tried to tell him he wasn't a killer. He was a nice guy. I mean, real nice guy, funny dude. We have a great time together. But he got caught up in that lifestyle for a minute. And when I remember while we were in court, they actually played the movie Colors in court for the jury. So they used the gang situation in the movie Colors to convict my friend of murder. Got a conviction, 25 years of life, based on what happened in the movie. They were the prosecutor said that because my friend was a blood, that because the Bloods, I think the Bloods got beat up and shot up in the movie, he reacted to the movie outside the theater. And that was not the case. The guys had an altercation. They both were selling that shit. And they both had an altercation earlier that week. My friend said the guy pulled the gun on him before. We didn't shoot him because he was in front of too many people. When we saw him again, it looked like he was going for his gun again. And my partner was just a little bit faster, and he killed him. And but nonetheless, the media part, the movie part, was utilized as a witness to my partner's mentality, why he did what he did. And I think that right there is a serious carriage of misjustice. And but it still goes on right now. Only the artists actually make their own evidence, make their own cases by making these records, and they name themselves. And I got to use Master P's brother as an example. I mean, he named himself C Murder, you know, and he got. I mean, I know they say he didn't do it, but it's hard to tell 12 white people in Louisiana. A guy named C Murder didn't kill somebody, okay? And I've never understood the attraction to death and murder that hip hop had. I mean, back in the 80s and early 90s, everybody's label was named after something derogatory. You had Death Row, you had Grand Jury, you had Coroner Records, you had the Lynch Mob, you had all these different labels or names of organizations, whether it be a label or a production company, that was all connected to something derogatory in the penal system. And I never understood that.
No, criminal.
And it's like you begging for negative vibes or negative attention. I mean, Death Row, I mean, look at it. I mean, you called it Death Row, very successful. Well, look at the demise of it.
No.
Nobody won.
No.
Nobody won.
Yeah, well, it's funny, man, because I was listening to an interview yesterday with King George. He used to be with No Limit, and you know, thoughts and prayers with King George. I want to say because I had having some health issues at the minute and stuff, but nonetheless, you know, he was saying in the interview he was a part of early No Limit and he was kicked out, and he was saying, well, even though he feels he was kicked out, he said, look at what happened in the end, like it ended up just a lot of people going to jail or getting, you know, ended up dead and stuff. Sort of the legacy, what it sort of unfolded as, even though I think they had a bit of a positive name with No Limit, because that could always be attached with, you know, positivity and stuff. But as you said, maybe some of the other stuff that was going on at that time. Now, when did you think things kind of changed? Because, to kind of, start from the World Class Wreckin Cru and then, going forward, that really helped, launch, obviously, Dre and stuff into where he went forward. But we seen early days of, I guess, not like bickering in hip hop when they was even using like some of those old Wreckin Cru promo pictures to diss Dre and the album covers and all that stuff. So it was like you always had, I think, like that bickering, and then it exploded. I think. And at what point did you see it change?
You got to understand, Wreckin Cru was on the cusp of hip hop and R&B. We were right there in the middle, man. Hip hop had not really, it was there, but it hadn't spread its wings yet. Okay, it was formed. It was in the West. It was in the East Coast. It was doing good. You had various types of hip hop. You had everything from Public Enemy, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. You had Curtis Blow. So what East Coast had established itself as a variety of hip hop. Then you had some gangsters. Okay, most people don't know that Public Enemy at one point in time was considered gangster rap. Okay, then they got political. And when we came to the West Coast, because we saw, I had Curtis Blow at the club, I had Run DMC at the club, I had Jekyll and Hyde, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at the club, Eve After Dark. So when it came for us, we looking at Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, we were a DJ crew. So we like, you know what, let's do something more like this, but I can't do the feathers and the Indian thing, okay? I can't do the feathers, all right? So we're gonna do something a little bit more classy, because we are world class. And that's why we got the look that we had and the sound that we had. And shortly after that, and meanwhile, while we here in LA, as Wreckin Cru was developing, right behind Wreckin Cru was coming the crack era, okay? Now we always had gangsters, we always had gangbangers, gangsters in the Compton, LA, and Watts around for years. But gangsters never were into the music business, okay? That was never something that they even thought about doing. I mean, rappers, there was no reason, could you imagine some gangsters trying to sing R&B or something, okay? Yeah. I'm gonna shoot you in the head, I love you though. That ain't gonna never work. So when hip hop finally got its wings, crack came right behind it. Crack and gangbanging got together for the first time. Dope and gangbanging got together for the first time. I was telling Freeway Rick, I say, Rick, you know what? You had the music. I had the music. You had the dope. And in the 80s, that shit came together like peanut butter and chocolate, and it made something that nobody even thought was gonna work together. And that's what happened. You got gangsterism, dope, and you had the ability to pay for the studio time. Because understand this.
Money.
In the 80s, up until the 80s, until we went to the studio, until we got in the record business, you had to have live musicians. The technology was not there.
Of course, yeah.
Until the 80s, for guys to go into the studio with a drum machine and not a real drummer.
Facts.
The technology was not there for you to have a sequencer and a keyboard and not have somebody actually playing that shit. You can program it. We program stuff with one finger. You don't have to play, okay? And nowadays, because you can do everything on the computer, your skills can be minimum. You can buy pre-programmed beats and just rap on top of them. So at that time in the 80s, it was like the Wild Wild West, and then comes crack, and now people have to fight for their lives, and you got a musical genre that allows you to express yourself. And, it became much more popular because there was more pockets of gang-banging dope dealers than it was pretty boys wearing sequins, okay? No. And although we were still respected, that became popular. And I remember even in the club, man, I've always had dual careers. I ran nightclubs forever, still DJed to this day. And I remember when I first opened my club in '79, I would come to work every day wearing a tie, a suit, well, because I wanted to, not because I had to. I could come to work clean. We go shopping every Friday or Saturday night before the club opened up.
Yeah.
But when we got to the late '80s, I left, did some tours, came back, opened the club up for a little while. I couldn't wear my suits no more. I had to wear jeans and tennis shoes and sweatshirts because it was more about fighting in the club than it was dancing. So the whole mind shift
had changed.
It shifted.
Because
what happened?
Yeah, I remember my visual that I see is when I see like the old movies like Breaking and stuff, and I'd say rest in peace Shabba Do, man, because he was a solid one. But when you see a movie like that, the music, it wasn't like rap music; they was dancing to like funk and all that stuff, and but the vibes, it was atmospheric. You could see nobody weren't killing each other. So as you said, and that was set the premise, I think, in times like the 80s. So I'm just using there as a visual sort of depiction, but as you said, going forward from that, it got more criminal. Because when we hear about the music business in the 90s, they say it was like the Wild Wild West, just how everybody was operating, the labels and stuff like that.
I mean, you never had young kids running record labels, okay? When I was the first one of the first guys here on the West Coast to do that. I mean, I own the record label. I'm in the group. That only person did that before me was James Brown, okay? And that was kind of my inspiration. That's what James Brown did, why can't I do it? And that was kind of my inspiration. But I also had been watching Don Cornelius on Soul Train. So that was another inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you got the 70s, coming up from a different era, I had these different role models. I'm looking at Don Cornelius every week, clean as a chicken.
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah.
At the dark, I'm clean, suited and booted.
Yeah. Okay.
James Brown was a wild dude, capes the whole 9 yards. So when I had a chance to do my James Brown thing, we cleaned it. The group we doing our thing. We dancing the whole 9 yards. So I'm in that transition, and then all of a sudden, something I never seen before come along, and that was gangster rap. And if you remember seeing it Straight Outta Compton, Eazy was never trying to do gangster rap. Drake was never trying to do gangster rap. They were trying to do reality raps.
Yeah.
Totally different. And that's why you had songs like Boys in the Hood at that time versus, I don't know, Gangsta or whatever. Because they first started off, they were all about reality rap. You had songs like Something to Dance To, produced by Arabian Prince. You had Express Yourself, where Drake, he denounces weed. I don't smoke weed or cess. All that. It was reality rap.
Yeah.
And it wasn't gangster rap. And it wasn't until maybe a year or so later that the media took it and turned it into gangster rap. But by that time, everything he had done with World Class Wreckin Cru, he was now ashamed of. And I told him, I said, man, look, by you running from that, instead of embracing it, I did it. Something I did, I had a ball doing it, but now I'm doing something else. And the only person I ever saw do that, there was 3 people in hip hop that transitioned from pretty boys to gangsters. And that was Dre, Yella, and Tupac. Okay? And Tupac always embraced his time with Digital Underground. Okay? He would tell you, I would dance in my drawers just to have a place to sleep when I was with Digital Underground. Okay? He always stayed cool with Shock G. Okay? They always had a relationship.
Rest in peace, Shock. No. Yeah.
Peace out, rest in peace, Shock. And Dre put Wreckin Cru so far behind him, he tried to hide from it. And when you try to hide from something, people could use it as a weapon against you. Okay? Yeah. Like Obama did when Obama ran for president. Yeah, I started cocaine, I smoked weed. Yes, I did all that. So now you can't use it against me no more. I'm telling you what I did. Okay? Well, you tell people, I'm a gangster, but I got pictures of you wearing a sequins doctor's uniform. Oh man, that was something Lonzo made me do. No, that ain't what happened. So, it is what it is, man. The Wreckin Cru was such a prolific group, and we did so much in LA and affected the world, just like, man, nobody knew we was gonna do all that, man.
No.
Nobody had no idea that gangster rap was gonna be this, Drake was gonna be a billionaire, Lonzo was gonna be the Godfather. Nobody could predict that kind of stuff, man. We just was doing what we were doing, trying to survive and have some fun and get laid.
Yeah, that was a while back, Easy, because Lil Easy, we spoke to Lil Easy, and he said, for what he knows, for the most part, he kind of, thought the movie coincided quite well. But what was Easy like when you actually, you personally, your experience of meeting him? Because people say he was a really cool guy,
Man, Eazy was a super cool dude. I never saw Eazy get mad. Okay, I was around Eazy, was around my house a lot. I've never saw him get mad. But what I did see something I always respected him for. A lot of times he come through here, he always had a little E with him. That was the one thing about him I always respected. He always took time out with his kid. I mean, little E was still wearing diapers. He got the bag on his shoulder. I ain't lying. He got the bag. Okay. So when when he blew up, he would still come by the house. He would still come by the pad from time to time and hang out. He didn't have to, but he did. And I met Eazy through Dre. Okay. Eazy came by a lot more after Dre never came back once he blew up. I never saw Dre at my house again. But Eazy came back after he blew up, and the N.W.A was at their peak. He'd come by the pad to kick it. And one day we was outside on the patio kicking it. And I said, hey, man, how long you gonna sell this Eazy-E thing? He said, Lonzo, I'm gonna sell it till as long as they keep buying it. Because if you knew Eazy, if you remember the movie, I ain't got it. And this is the part people, are you just hating? No, man, he showed you himself how he got into the game. He was not trying to be a star. He's a very laid back dude. He was not trying to be a star, but once he got into it, he knew how to make it work. He can separate Eazy from Eric Wright when everybody else couldn't, okay? He was more Eric Wright. I knew Eric Wright, okay? Eric Wright was a funny dude. We laugh, talk shit to each other all the time. Oh, you little short mother. Oh, you bald Jerry hair. Jerry curl wearing something. Blah. We always had jokes with each other. And him hooking him up with Jerry Heller was just something to do because he owed me some money, okay? And I wanted to get paid. And I do, give him my money. Oh, man, hook me with Jerry. I'll break you off some extra. Okay, man, no problem. And I want my other money too. All right, cool. And that's how it happened. So when you really know the story, man, when you really know the story, and you see the evolution of the players in the game, it's a lot different from what people want to believe. Okay, and sometimes people can mistake me for sounding like a hater. Nah, man, I just know the real story. That's all. Yeah, I know the real story. The one thing they did before they blew up was cut off all contact with me. Because I knew every individual person. The only person I couldn't speak on, and I never speak on nobody that I can't speak on, is Ren. Only person I can't speak on is Ren, okay? Because I don't remember Ren that well. We never had a conversation to really, for me to speak on him. And I'm not gonna speak on nobody's situation that I'm not familiar with. But Yella, Dre, Eazy, Q, I can talk about them. I can speak on them. I know what kind of guys they are. Yeah. They've all evolved as men. They've evolved several times as men. I tell Q may not be a gangbanger, but he's the most gangster of all of them. Yeah. When you got a man that left a group on his way up to being in his prime, left the group, started his own thing, successful.
Went solo.
Got picked up into a movie, started doing his own movie, successful. The man got three franchises, okay? Three movie franchises, Friday, Barbershop, and Are We There Yet? Not to mention all the other individual movies he did coming up.
They're in between, you right.
And then he says, hey, man, you know what? I want to get into the sports game. He didn't go try and buy a team. He created his own league. That's gangster as hell, man.
Yeah, big freak.
That's gangster as hell, man.
Yep.
That don't get no more gangster than that. You ain't ever seen that before, man.
And
I got to say this one thing. Me and a young lady had a debate one time. She says, oh, I love Ice Cube. He's such a gangster. I said, what's that he from? He ain't a gangbanger. but he's damn sure a gangster when it comes to business. I got you.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I'm with you on that. And what we also had, slightly on that note, I was going to ask you about Jerry Heller, just if you feel he gets a negative depiction by people, because people say he was a culture vulture and all this sort of stuff, but then others have said nah, Jerry was cool, man. So I was gonna ask you, in your experience, do you feel he gets a negative depiction?
Jerry Heller took advantage of the lack of knowledge that the fellas didn't have. Okay. In any sport, any game you playing, if I read the rule book and you don't read the rule book, it's not my job to tell you what the rules are.
No.
Okay? Now, if I know the rules and I play by the rules or bend the rules, I ain't say I'm breaking them, but I bend the rules, okay? And you don't have enough knowledge to correct me, that's on you, okay? We playing basketball, you dribbling with two hands, okay? Well, if you don't know that's double dribble, that ain't my problem, okay? That's not my problem. No. And that's the reality of the music business or business in general. That's the reality. Anytime you get into anything, you got to know what you're doing to play, okay? You wouldn't play baseball, football, basketball, any other game without understanding the rules, okay? And I think that's where Jerry Heller, I wouldn't call him a culture vulture, no, because he was in the music business beforehand.
Yeah.
But he
helped.
Realized, huh?
Oh no, sorry, I was gonna say he probably helped in a sense because he was in the business beforehand.
Right.
So
he had a lot of connections. And he understood the game. And this is what happens to most people in the music game. Get in the music game, you just happy to be in the game because all this lifestyle is so new to you. You got money you never seen before, and you signing contracts, you signing agreements, okay? And once you sign those agreements, time progresses, and that limelight that you was once standing in ain't as bright as it used to be. The checks ain't coming as fat. The checks ain't as fat as they was. So now you start questioning what happened to the money. Well, you start reading the contract that you signed 10 years ago for the first time.
Facts.
Oh shit! I gave away this. I gave away that. I gave away this. And this is why, if you ever had an interview with Jerry, he's never been sued because he asked you for certain situations in the contract, and by signing your name to it, you agree to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, is that culture vulture? No. He just knew, like Q in the movie, Straight Outta Compton. They never gave Cube a contract to read. And when he did read it, he knew it wasn't right. But everybody else had already signed off. Okay? Whose fault is that? That Cube's fault? No, that ain't Cube's fault. No. Is that Jerry's fault? That was business. And that's the cold part of, see, that's the part that most artists don't understand is business. In any business, I'm finna hit you upside the head with some serious shit. As I say, I'm finna kick you in the nuts. In any business, it's their job to get you for as much as they possibly can.
No.
Whether it be buy a car, a bank loan, credit card, any business is gonna have the contract bent to their favor as much as possible. And if it means totally screwing over you, so be it. Okay?
Yeah, you're right. No,
and that's just business, okay? And that's the part most cats don't understand because you got a check sitting on top of this contract with your name on it, and your mind go out the window. So your mind is in the mall, okay? You see a contract with your name on it for $250,000. Your mind finna go shopping. What I gotta do to get this check? You just ate oatmeal and top ramen for lunch or for dinner last night. You finna get $250,000 a day. You ain't reading that contract, and most cats ain't gonna hire somebody to read them for them, and that's the part that people get screwed on. So was Jerry Heller a culture vulture? No. Did he take advantage of the cats that who didn't know? He just did basic business. Okay. Business.
with that being said, I know it's something you spoke on yourself recently. We've seen, I haven't looked too much into it, but I know MC8 had said something that there was some kind of issue I think he had with business he felt at the time and stuff. Do you think that just a lot of artists had an expectancy of whether it's labels or producers or promoters to just do all this stuff for them and blow them up and not have an understanding that there needs to be money made for the business too as well?
Well, you know what? Me and Eight just had a conversation about 3 weeks ago about that situation. It wasn't me, first of all. It wasn't me. It was one of my partners, and Eight knew it wasn't me, and everybody knew it. But here, in the world of social media, everybody's an expert on Lonzo. Everybody's an expert on N.W.A. Everybody's an expert on CMW. Okay, but people are putting things in chat rooms about Lonzo because Lonzo was the one that actually discovered CMW, but I didn't put them out. I only had them on my compilation album. Okay. So anyway, make a long story short, you got cast, man. You'll never hear of a record artist on a label for more than 5 years is happy with me. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
It's impossible, pretty much. Yeah. Even 50 and up, nobody.
Nobody, man. Come on, dude.
It's impossible.
Everybody left Motown eventually. Okay. Everybody left Motown. Okay. Everybody left Def Row. I mean, Def Jam. They left Def Row because the most record companies understand that the average artist got maybe 2, hopefully 3 good albums in them. Okay. Most artists don't have 10, 12 albums.
Yeah.
But they sign you to 7 just in case you that dude. Okay? But your worst part of your deal is on your first 3 albums. The worst part of your deal is the first 3 albums. And that's when they got to put the most money out to blow you up. So they put it to you hard. And they give you advances, but the advances in most cases may never get recoupable unless you go multi-platinum. And then you still may not get what you deserve. I mean, even Michael, I think he was getting $1 an album after he finally did Thriller or something like that.
Wow.
Understand this. The record business is the only business that you can walk into a record label with a project that you recorded with your money, owning 100% of that product. And when you sign that contract, you'll be lucky to get 10%.
Yeah.
Okay? You walk in owning 100%. Publishing, masters, writers, everything. You sign that contract, and you'll be lucky to get 10% of that, or 15% of that product. You won't own it no more. But you'll be in debt for a project that you just got through paying for. Come on, man. It's
safe to say the whole way that the I guess the infrastructure of it is kind of gangster, because even when I used to look into it before and I said, wait, this whole thing's like a shakedown. Whoever set it up, they shake down the people to pay the licensing money. They shake everybody down.
If you ever want to see something that's interesting, check out this movie about the Black Godfather, Clarence Avon.
Okay, I've seen the documentary. Okay. Yeah.
He talks about how a lot of the people from the record industry came from the bootlegging industry, and the guys that did the agencies, a lot of your booking acts in underground speakeasies, and when the liquor became legal, they just turned them into regular booking agencies. But they're all from a certain mindset. You loan me $100,000 to make a product that you're going to own. I got to pay you back so you can own the product, and I got to pay for all the advertising and marketing for a project that you own, that I created. How is that? You own 90% of this product. I created it, but you're making me pay for everything back, pay everything back and with interest.
Yeah.
So, well, I think CDs probably was the coldest part of the record industry that made it real clear for me how bad it was. You telling me that if I own, because I've been independent for most of my career, but I did have a major deal at one time.
Okay.
You telling me I can sell these CDs for $10 a piece wholesale. Okay? If you sell them for me for $10 a piece wholesale, you're going to give me 60 cents. But if I sell them for $10 a piece independent, I make $9.
You get that much, you know.
I get $9.
There you go.
So where is the other $9 in the other deal? What happened to that money? Oh, that goes for marketing and promotion. But you charging me back. You're charging me for that though. So why am I paying for that? It's your product.
No.
Because that's the way the game goes. That's a bad game.
Do you think that's why P, you know, was able to hit them and sort of clog the game up at that time? And
Yeah.
And, you know, he had money to promote it from, you know, outside.
So all I had to do was give him distribution, put it out there for him. He got the lion's share of the money. That's why I believe that's why when Jay Prince, Suge, and
F. Gotti, they was trying to do a distribute. They came down on them hard.
No, y'all can't. Oh, hell no.
They shut them down hard.
But most people don't know that me, Egyptian Lover, Unknown DJ, and Rudy Pardee of LA Dream Team, we did it independently back in 1989.
Now, I heard you speak on this on one of your shows, but I was going to get you to sort of expound on it. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
At 1989, Macola, that's where we all started at Macola Records in Santa Monica, in Hollywood, on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Okay.
Macola was going through some bad times, and he got some new partners. Everybody was leaving. Rudy had left. I had left. Egyptian Lover had left. I left. I think I left first, but I came back first. When I came back, I got dropped from CBS. I came back. He had some new business partners trying to retain the artists because he couldn't keep nobody because he wasn't paying people like he was supposed to. And shortly after that, Macola went out of business completely. Well, I got a label. I got selling product. So I created this thing called the West Coast Record Distributors. It was the four of us: LA Dream Team, Rudy from LA Dream Team, Egyptian Lover, Unknown DJ, and me and my partner Adrian Gregory, who was a part of Tupac's manager, drove down to Palm Springs, California, and met with all the distributors and asked them would they buy from us. They said yes, we'll buy from you. And then we went to another company called Rainbow Records, and would they manufacture our records? He said yes. So we got manufacturing and distribution. Okay.
Yeah.
Back then, our names carried so much weight. All we had to do was drop music. We didn't spend a lot of money on promotion. We hired independent record promoters, okay? But we didn't do a whole lot of billboard stuff like that. Our names carried so much weight, and rap was still fairly new. So when Crew Cut dropped something, people was looking for it. When the Egyptian Empire dropped something, people were looking for it. Same with Techno Hop, same with Dream Team. First day we dropped out of there was Rodney and Joe Cooley. You Don't Hear Me Though?
Okay.
Me and Joe was the album. Then we dropped Supersonic on Dream Team Records. Then I came with the Compton compilation. Then we dropped King T. And because we were independent, nobody paid us no attention. We made $1 million the first year. First 6-8 months, we made $1 million. Okay. Unfortunately for us, we didn't have the guidance to maintain our egos, and we imploded. We imploded. Okay, just egos everywhere. I'm a star. Egypt a star. Rudy a star. Unknown a star. And sometimes you can't put that much star power in a room. It's like having too many stars on the basketball team. Somebody got even one ball.
Yeah.
Even one ball. Somebody won't get 3 people, 5 people, 4 people won't have the ball. Anyway, make a long story short, that lasted for about 1.5 years, and we folded. But after we folded, we realized we had created a business model for other independent companies. We tried to follow our business model, but what they did not have was the hit makers, because our business was based around hit makers, and that's how we were able to launch so many careers. And later on, we should have sold. We had a chance to, but we was offered a pile of money. By that time, it was pretty much a wrap. And I think about it now. It was some life-changing money, but nobody could come to the table and make it happen. But anyway, it just made for it was an idea we had a long time ago. But when you got guys like Jay Prince and Suge coming together for distribution, you're talking about taking money from major players. Hundreds of millions from major players, and that they ain't gonna let that happen.
And that would have been Ev Gotti on the East Coast, Jay Prince, the South, Sugar on the West as well. So it would have really been a game changer.
A whole lot of money. I mean, think about this. Just the Death Row.
Right.
Death Row at one time it generated almost $500 million just for them alone.
Yeah.
$500 million. Okay, $500 million, man. So that ain't no sneezing money. Okay, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. No. So somebody is, and you got to understand the record business ain't really about records. It's about the money the records generate. That's why it takes so long. It takes so long for an artist to get paid because they collect the money in 30 days, but they're not paying you for damn near 6 months. So in 6 months, that money is being invested in other instruments to generate dividends that you don't get.
That ain't nothing to do. Yeah.
So by the time you get paid 6 months to a year later, your money then probably doubled for the company, but you only get paid what you got coming. And you
ain't getting no interest on that money or that. So the cost of living, everything changing, going up.
It's not about records.
Yeah.
It's like McDonald's is not about hamburgers. McDonald's is about land.
Yeah.
It's not about hamburgers. Hamburgers pay for the land, but McDonald's is one of the largest landholders in the world.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I got a couple of a few more questions. I know one of them was based around the same sort of thing, the music business and just I guess publishing and sampling and stuff. And it kind of goes back to even Master P and that because they had the Ice Cream Man record, which I believe was your record. So how did that? Is that something you had to sign off for? And
Nah, man, it was kind of crazy. I did a publishing deal with a company out of Tennessee, and I had never heard the record. They called me and Lonzo, man, have you heard this record before? I'm like, nope. They said, check it out, and I did. And I said, damn, that sounds familiar. And by the time they called us, it was at about 250,000 units.
Oh shit.
And they trying to make a publishing, do a sample deal. Give me all my money. That's like somebody breaking into your house and stealing something that's worth $25. But by the time they get it, they realize it's worth $250,000 and they want to pay you $25 for it. Oh, hell no. I need $250. So that's what happened. So on that particular product, on that particular song, I own 100% of the publishing, or I share 100% of the publishing and half the writers. And that song has been very good to me. I'm hoping somebody else would do the same thing.
Well, I know that the music business gets technical, and this is what I wanted to ask you about, because one of the things I see in there, let me read this to you. This is in the UK. This is happening in Birmingham, UK, and it's an orchestral rendition of Dr. Dre's album 2001, and apparently, it says disclaimer, Dr. Dre will not be attending this event, but they've got this live orchestra that's going to be there replaying the complete rendition of the album, and they say they got singers, dancers, and all that stuff. I mean, how do people get around doing sort of events like this with people's music?
Well, see, you can recreate any song. Okay? You can do, publishing allows you to do, that's why you have so many songs that get remade in different ways. There used to be a company called Hidden Beach. And Hidden Beach, all they would do was take all the hip hop hits and make instrumentals out of them. Make real funky instrumentals. That's nothing wrong with that. The publishing gets paid, the writers get paid, but what you have now is a new master. Okay? There's nothing wrong with creating a new master. Motown was notorious. Think about just one song. I heard it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Everybody on Motown did that song.
Well, the business, it used to be like that back in the day. Everyone used to do the same songs and stuff to a degree, but yeah.
Right. Okay, it's a hit song. People love it. Gladys Knight did it. Marvin Gaye did it. Temptations did it. Yeah. Supreme. Everybody did that one song. Okay? Now you're generating publishing money for the new master. Okay? So all they're doing in England, is taking the music sheets that Dre did, instead of using bass or basic bass drum, they're using violins and oboes, cellos and shit, and taking it to another larger scale, which is dope as hell. And it's like paying tribute to the artist, but in another genre. Because now that's going to be considered like, would it be considered opera? I don't think so.
It's got to be type, opera type crowd anyway. It won't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you take that, rolling down the street, smoking on gin and juice. Come on, man, that shit would be crazy. So, it's definitely something to. It's a tribute, man. It's really a tribute to the artist's talent and the music, and just hear it in a different perspective. That's all.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, speaking of Dre, do you have any thoughts on his recent case with his divorce? That cost a lot of people are saying that they don't think as a man now that they want to get married and stuff. They feel as though that a lot of marriages lean towards, the woman getting too much out of it and the man, sacrificing a lot and not getting anything. I mean, what do you think?
You know what? See, you finna touch on some you'll get me canceled messing with your ass. Okay. I tell people all the time, I tell guys all the time, I'm trying to say this in a nice way, not to beat me a little bit. Okay? You're not supposed to pay for it. It's illegal to pay for it, but you're always buying. No, it's illegal to buy it, but you're always paying for it. Okay? And it costs you the most to get rid of it. Okay? The P word. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to become free. Not supposed to buy it. But you always a cost. Okay, you pay for it. Whether it be movies, dinners, gas, whatever the case may be. And once you marry it, you gotta pay to get rid of it for life. So that's the game, Doc. That's the game. Okay? No, and I got a poem I wrote a long time ago about that. That's the only body part that comes with a pension. Okay? Damn. You gotta pay that pension. Okay? So 300,000, I think he still got out good.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot. But
I tell you what it really stung. What it really stung, we had to pay 300,000 in alimony and another 200,000 or 300,000 in child support. That's what killed you. Okay, that's what killed you. I mean, I read stories where a basketball player here in the States, one of them, Blake Griffin, paid like 300,000 a month just in child support. And this woman he has kids by has another kid by another ball player who's also paying hundreds of thousands a month in child support. So she's making like $500,000 a month.
It's crazy, man. Yeah.
Just in $500,000 a month just in child support.
I mean, that's scary. Do you with that being said, with women nowadays, we ain't female bashing at all because I don't want the feminists and stuff to come for us or come for me anyway. But now some say that the women artists nowadays are a bit too not like out there in their demeanor and stuff or even how they present themselves. Now some will argue that it's been that way even back in the day. You had J-Fad, you had N.W.A, you had all sorts of different groups that was still sort of, I don't want to say too sexual, but pushed a different kind of edge. So what do you think of like the old female rappers in comparisons to like the Megan Thee Stallions and stuff nowadays and stuff? Do you think they get a negative slant too much?
Well, women want to have the right to do what men do, but in most cases, it's not received the same way. Okay, we can talk about having oral sex, all kind of things. When you talk about giving oral sex, we look at you differently. We look at you different. Okay, when a woman talks about certain things, and I mean and I know as men, we're wired. Some men are wired different. Okay, like I know I'm wired real special because I tell people all the time, a woman in a sundress to me is more sexy than somebody in a bikini. That's just Lonzo though. Okay, so if I like that kind of woman, I like somebody that's going to be sexy but not obvious. Okay, give me something to work with. Give me something mentally. Some guys, they want to see it all the time. Some of them will show it to you all the time. But what do you expect out of that? You can't get mad at a man for appreciating your body if that's all he sees. Okay? You look at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and everybody got their ass in your face, but you want to get mad if somebody says something about your ass. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can, but it ain't right. I mean, you got a woman with a chest up to here, and my eyes are up here, eyes up here. Hey, wait a minute. That's you purposely put them in my face. Now I look at them, I'm wrong. That's a trap.
Yeah, they crazy. I had an IG model do me that the other day, man. Well, not me personally. She put one of those pictures in her stories, and I clicked the laughing face emoji, and she was like, "Hey, what you laughing for?" I said, "Hey, I said, don't worry, I hit the wrong button," but I said, she responded hella quick as soon as I clicked that one, because
How do you expect me? I mean, men are visual characters.
Yeah.
Women are more cerebral. Okay, so that's why we lie, and that's why y'all look at my makeup. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, and you can't unwire me because you want to change times. You still can't unwire me. It's like trying to take a lion out of the jungle, put him in the zoo, and make him a goddamn pet. He's still a damn lion. Just because you change his geographic area, ain't gonna make him a damn house cat. He's still a fucking lion. Okay,
Man.
What can I tell you?
Yeah, we live in a crazy world with strange times, but to a degree, everything can be reassigned, but then some things, I guess, you don't have the right to say, but we don't want to get too political on that note.
Nah, man, they'll be to shut you down, messing
And one of the things I was going to ask you as well before we head out is, because I know you probably got a lot to do, St. Charles, did you ever have any, because I know you mentioned like some distribution and stuff, did you ever have any dealings with St. Charles Solar Music Group? Because we hear he was a big distributor in the West Coast.
You talking about Dick Griffey?
St. Charles Furman?
Don't know him.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, he had a music group, Solar Music Group, apparently.
Solar Music Group was Dick Griffey brought to my knowledge.
Okay, well, I don't know if he just worked with him or...
He may have been in charge of Dick. Dick Griffey was the owner of Solar Music Group. He did try a distribution situation at one point in time, and I know very few people that actually took advantage of it because it was not a very good deal.
Okay. Well, with that being said, lastly, can we hear or expect to see any sort of reunion stuff with the Wreckin Cru?
Man, as soon as this pandemic is over with, we plan on hitting the road again. Yella, he wants to join the original Wreckin Cru. I think I mentioned that earlier. We all, Cli-N-Tel, Lonzo, myself, and Yella, have books out right now. So we all look to do a joint book tour, maybe performing. Man, the world, right now, at this stage of my life, I'm looking to have some more fun. We did a lot of fun stuff, and that's what I bring. That's what we're gonna bring to the table. Even I play a club right now. And I play mostly early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s music.
Okay.
And the vibe is so much different from the current music. Nobody ever requests any of the trap stuff, man, because it's depressing. So we're looking to get together and have some fun, do some things, man, and and like I tell people all the time, when the Wreckin Cru in our heyday, we never had security. We didn't have security. Only security we had one dude that I spoke of earlier, and his job was carry equipment and go get her. Tell her come here, okay? Because it wasn't that kind of vibe, and the vibe from hip hop has been hijacked and replaced with some kind of violent madness, man, that just, I don't know, man. It's very self-destructive. But, hopefully there's enough people out there that want to see World Class Wreckin Cru, do Turn Off the Lights and Surgery and Lovers and all the songs we did back in the day. I'd love to come to England, man. Last time I was in England was in 1984 or 85 we did the English Fresh Fest.
Wow, I ain't gonna blow up my age too much, but around those places.
We did we played Wembley Stadium.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
It was
Now,
Sir Mix-a-Lot, Wreckin Cru, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Africa Bombada, and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. And I think one more act was there. I can't think of. I know those were the main acts right there. We all flew on the same plane together. And we had a ball, man. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'd love to have you, man. And I think one of the crazy things about the UK is I believe it went through like a period in the 80s where it sounds like a lot of people was coming over the 80s, early 90s, and then mid-90s it went quiet. Nobody came. And then like early 2000s, people started coming back and doing tours and stuff again. But it was a different sort of generation. But we definitely appreciate the legends and stuff. We've had Yella come out and he did a tour and stuff recently and stuff. Well, not recently, a few years before the pandemic now. But so I know the fans out here would definitely want to see that. With that being said, can we ask you something we usually get our guests to answer is your top 5 hip hop albums.
Woo, man.
Or we could do your top 5 artists. We might do both, but
I'm dude, that's all that ain't gonna leave the West Coast, man.
That's cool.
One I play a lot right now, still play Tupac, All Eyes on Me. Tupac, anything by DJ Quick, that's one of my favorite cats. Doggy Style album by Snoop, one of my favorite.
Free.
Dr. Dre, of course, Chronic, and who else? I play a lot of. I gotta go with Too Short, man.
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry, Cube. I'm sorry. That's
I was thinking no Cube, but Short not cool, but Cube.
So
it can be the 6 man.
You get cussed out because I like so many cats, man.
Yeah, I know 5 be hard, but it'd be good, man, and it stimulates some conversation with the fans in the comments. So we definitely appreciate that. And lastly, any messages just to young people and the up-and-coming generation? You're a man that imparts a lot of knowledge and wisdom. I know we didn't get to dive too much into your work with Lyrical Revolution and the peace movement, but we'll put a link of more of that stuff up for you.
Thank you. Man, you know what? I want people to understand, man, look. Hip-hop has, in some cases, been weaponized against youngsters. You ain't got to diss nobody. You ain't got to kill nobody to be famous. Make music that you can look at your kids can look at 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and still be proud that you made that song. I heard it was something that was said on I read an article today that when the Cardi B songs came on, I think WAP came on, she turned it off. She didn't want her daughter to see it. Okay, you ain't got to sell your soul to get paid. Bottom line, you ain't got to sell your soul to get paid. And learn to have fun again, man. Come on, dude. Life is too short, dude. Learn to have fun again. Hip hop should be fun, man. Hip hop is dangerous. That ain't hip hop, man. That ain't hip hop.
It's supposed to be peace, love, understanding, having fun, creativity. Those are the elements.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, be creative and not disrespectful. Bottom line. Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, wise words, man, and we definitely hope we can get you back on at some point because, there's so much that I know we could go into. You kind of touched on them. The prison complex and other things that I was like, wanting to go down those areas. But I know time is of the essence and it's early out there. So next time we can reconnect.
You got it. And also check out my YouTube channel, folks. N.W.A Stories with Lonzo on YouTube. My Instagram is still Alonzo N.W.A. Same thing for my email account, Real Alonzo N.W.A Gmail. So hit me up, folks. Much love.
Much love, man. We'll get all that information up in your website details and stuff too, man.
Appreciate
so
it.
much
Website,
love.
HondaWilliams.com. That's
Salute.
right. All right, much love.
Much
See you,
love,
folks.
family. Peace.
Peace, family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on about.online.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook for exclusive playlists and social media for all different types of segments and content.